What is going on, guys? Sean Don is back with another technical analysis this week. Here we have one of my buddies, Tyler Williams, also one of my online clients, technically, for SDTC, if you're into that sort of thing. Yeah, here he is. We've been working together for 4 months now, I think, 3 or 4 months. Yeah, his PR, well, his PR is going to get smashed this year. Let's just say that. This is actually a 16-pound seasonal best for him. Slam session result from yesterday. So technique kind of goes out the window a little bit, which is good though, because then it lets you see what's going to break down when things pick up and you go to compete at that higher intensity. So he said this was 16 pounds. Well, 16-pound hammer. I knew it was 16-pound hammer. 68.50, I believe, somewhere around that distance, which is a great distance for Tyler, especially in the fall. Especially in the fall. That's great. Especially this is his first real heavy lifting cycle, and we've been trying to make a lot of technical changes. So let's get into it. Okay, so at first glance, very long, relatively connected. Alright, so let's get into it. So, through the winds, I think Tyler has pretty decent winds, pretty connected, very relaxed arms, works the hips good, keeps the weight back over the left side in the step up. We'll see if he does. He gets a little wide out and gets a lot of weight over on that right side. So Tyler, if you can try to keep during the step up, keep just like 15% more weight on this right side, or left side, sorry. And then as you come up, it'll help set that left side up better. Right now we're trying to work on his posture in the entry quite a bit, and posture throughout the whole throw really. But since you can see you have so much weight over on this right side, and your hands are kind of far back over your head, but I guess the one good thing here is that this ball is more or less parallel to the ground at this frame, which is good. If it was super high up in the air, I'd be worried about the ball dropping and crashing down on you as you go to catch. So come through here, like I said, try to have more weight on this right side. Camera right side, your left side. As you can see, obviously your left heel or left toe for this first toe turn is about 1.5 feet, 2 feet from where your center of mass is. So from the start, keep more weight on that left side. Not all your weight, but just more of it. That'll help set things up better. And then as you come through, and once again, these are high intensity throws, so it's hard to kind of stay back and stay controlled on the left side and still put out in the intensity that you want. Here, and then you still have the same tendency to kind of pull this right elbow down, and I think that causes the ball to drop and pulls your shoulders forward a little bit. So think about bringing that right elbow straight across rather than pulling down and then pushing across. Keep those hands up. We spoke about that before. Posture. So you can see, since you had more weight on that right side in the winds right from the get-go, you're not going to quite get over there where you need to be. So left hip, the farthest point it gets to is over there. You can see your left shoulder is already back a little bit, and that explains why you kind of travel down the, I guess you're not quite going down this right sector line during the throw, you're kind of going down the middle and then a little bit over-rotated towards the end. And I think that's a result of right here in this entry, your left shoulder needs to be just a little bit more over this left hip, and you can see with your hands being so far down like that, your shoulders are going to be forward and your hips are going to be back. If I had a side view, that would be perfect, but so try to get those hips forward, push those knees forward, knees over the toes. It's ankle mobility, honestly. And then shoulders back. All right, so you want to imagine if you were trying to balance some books on your head. You'd want to stand perfectly straight up and down with your neck kind of extended backwards and tall, whereas right here you're pulled forward a little bit. And then as you come through, that left hip starts to shift back, typical. But that's what we're trying to break. We're trying to keep that left hip right there. Like I said, and you can see Weight's probably 50-50 right now, left side, right side. If anything, it should be at this point like 60-40 at the very least, I think. And because you have just a little bit more weight on your right side, you shift back just a bit. All right, but honestly, you do a great job of letting the ball pass. And okay, I dig it, Tyler. So that little bit of hip shift back and this little bit of broken posture here is actually much improved, I think, over the past couple months, especially with how hard the 16-pound was on you at the start of the cycle. Coffee break, sorry. And then, but yeah, so if you had more weight on your left side from the start, and you had just built a little bit more upright posture, hips forward, imagine if you were doing a clean or a snatch, and that final pull position, power position, whatever you want to call it, third pull, I think, maybe it's the second pull, I really don't know. Hips forward, shoulders back, much better posture, and then, but you do let the ball pass good, like I said, and then you do an excellent job of chasing the ball around with your right hip. So yes, while your left hip does shift back, your right hip does not shift that much. So this left hip pulls back just a bit, boom, 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 but then that right hip more or less stays where it is. And that's good. Chases the ball around, your right side goes with it. And then you can see you have the same sort of lateral slope, I guess, that James Plummer has, and even Jude Misko, another one of my online clients who is kind of I don't know, him and Tyler like to talk shit to each other back and forth. So, but so these hips are just tilted slightly downwards, and the same thing for the shoulders. So like you're just slightly off axis. Ideally at this point you want your shoulders to be level, eyes kind of square to the sector, and right hip more forward and kind of back over this left side more. Once again, this is the same thing that goes back to not having enough weight on that left side in the winds. And then as you come down, you catch pretty early, somewhere in between here. Very good. But you can still see that broken posture. Like you said, you mentioned to me the other day, you could see the difference between the right hip forward and right hip backwards. And this is the same thing here. Both hips need to be forward. This left shoulder needs to be back over this left hip more, and this right hip needs to be more forward. Right knee a little bit more forward, but definitely more back over this left side. And then as you come through, you actually do a pretty good job of countering. So I mentioned to you yesterday via text message that your counter is just a little bit off, but you can actually see here, at least in the first turn, it's decent. So when you catch, you want to think about using this right leg and kind of pushing back against the ball directly in the opposite direction of where the ball is at in each point in time, or just barely ahead of it. Because I guess if you technically do it right in the same plane, then there would be no tension. It would just be equal forces. Whereas if you want to be just a little bit ahead of it, but basically think about wherever the ball is at, your right leg wants to be working in the opposite direction. So if the ball would be at 0, you'd want to be thinking about pushing straight back to 180. And same thing for right here. This is what I was talking about yesterday when your timing was just a little off on the counter. So right here, you need to be back against the ball a little bit more, back against the ball, back against the ball. It's a very hard feeling to master, but I think Nick Miller is a guy who does a very good job of it. And you can see your hips start to come forward too here, so you're trying to get back into that position. Your shoulders are starting to go back. You still, I think, kind of step around a bit in this first turn, and I think that's a result of that tilted axis just a little bit. You pull that left side away and try to get that right side around, rather than keeping that left side where it is and pushing that right side, stepping that right side forward. But this is better than most throws I've seen you do. And then, so just keep thinking about pressuring back. So at this point right here, especially just as that left heel comes down, you need to hold this left side. So you need to keep that left side exactly where it is. And it's a very odd feeling, and it doesn't make sense. But you keep that left side where it is, and then you use this right leg. And once again, where's the ball at? Right here. So you want to think about driving backwards down that right sector line. This is the counter that I'm talking about. If you can hit this timing each turn, it'll be very good. But the big thing is holding the left side and then also pressuring that right side backwards. And then ball rises just a bit, but that left side pulls back here even more. You can't straighten that left side out so much. Right side once again is coming around, chasing the ball well, but that left side straightens out and pulls back just a bit. And I think it's, once again, a combination of not having enough weight on the left side in the entry, and then what happens in the entry gets magnified in the first turn, and the second turn, and the third turn, and the fourth turn. And that's just what's happening here. So you have just not enough weight. So like, let's say maybe you're missing like 5% more weight on that left side. And you can even see here your knee and foot are just a little bit wider out than your hip and shoulder. You want to get that everything just perfectly in line. But once again, good job working the ball all the way around, chasing the hip forward. A little later catch here because you get a little bit more around because you pulled that left side away. Hold that left side. The longer you work the ball around and hold that left side, the quicker you're going to get down with better posture. The tendency is to pull away and break posture and then come off early and land late, which sounds weird. You pick up earlier, but you land later. It's a thing. I don't completely understand it, but it is a thing. But so your posture's starting to get better here. Shoulders still need to be back about 6 inches over the hips. Good catch position here. You can see the right foot is just about in line with the left femur. And then, but not too worried about how early you catch here. It's before 270. That's all that really matters. Keeping that tension. I think if you just really, if you hold that left side and then you catch a little earlier, you'll hold this tension. You'll catch earlier and you feel the tension earlier. And the earlier you feel tension, the less likely you are to use the left side. I think, as long as you aren't totally programmed to do that. But almost flat-footed touchdown here. Try to get up more on the ball of the foot, and then also, like I said before, right hip forward, shoulders back. And then as you come through, same thing. Right as about the ball is here, you need to be pressuring backwards to the sector line in that direction and holding this left side. But you can see immediately right after that frame, that left side starts to go. Boom, left side's going. It's like you're hitting a golf club or hitting a golf ball, but at the same time you're straightening out that left leg and pulling away from it. So you want to stay down and swing that golf club straight through. I think that's a Yuri Sadiq analogy. But left side's pulling away again just a little bit, but right side, and even so pulls away, and then you also lift a little bit. Those hips come up, same thing. This is a decent position though. I think from the side view this would be good. If the ball was at 90, your hips and shoulders should be square to it, and your right foot picks up just a little early. So now we're finally getting into better posture. So like I said, this is where your body wants to be. So this is good. Hips over shoulders. You do over rotate again a little bit because you pulled that left side more, and still almost flat-footed catch. And because you catch flat-footed almost, you don't use it too much, and you're just so used to feeling that left side tension. Same thing as James Plummer. Look at your feet there. Right foot, left foot, just in totally opposite places. Literally pointing, that's almost 180 degrees, 135 degrees difference. Left heel comes down. Very tight, a lot of tension on this left side. But you're still doing a very good job of working that right hip and right leg with the ball. But then you get a little high, and you sent me a side view video the other day, and these shoulders are too far back over the hips now. So where your posture is decent here, you pull back and pull away from the ball, when in reality you need to give to the ball. Let the ball pull you out left, so it holds your tension, and you hold its tension, which kind of sounds funky, but as the ball goes left, you need to just relax and give to it, and not be afraid to let the ball take you out to the left and then forward to the sector. Whereas right now you're pulling away from it and pulling back from it. As you can see in this position right here, you can't really tell, but your shoulders are back behind the hips. As I said, I saw on the side view before. That's the tendency, and that's why that right foot always kind of floats going into the fourth turn. And then, once again, you always got the finish down. You're good at those one-turn stupid bullshit drills, with the weight. Shoulders back over the hips. This is how not every turn should be, but more or less this is how every turn should be. Very left side, the left side axis is lined up very well. And then you catch it early, you back away from it nice and long, and then you come through, work those hips through, pulling that left side away just a little bit. But yeah, so like I said, I think that really I could have stopped this video right after the entry, but I think you get the point now where you see if you don't have enough weight on the left side of the entry, then you don't have, you see the effects of it as it goes throughout the throw. So hopefully that makes sense, Tyler. Just text me if you got any questions. If you guys are interested in a technical analysis of your own, visit www.seandonnelly.biz or hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, doesn't matter. And if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, private online coaching, hit me up or seandonnelly.biz. I do it all. Shot put, discus, hammer, weight throw, throws, programming, lifting, all of it. If you got an idea and you want something to, if you want something from me that I don't offer, just let me know, and I'll probably do it, because I'm a go-getter like that, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, alright, thanks for watching, guys. Sean Don, peace out.